Hey guys, what's up? Cardfight here, and today I'm here with the Tsukuyomi deck profile. This is the updated build from the G-BT05. Tsukuyomi got a few new cards, and so I put them in the deck, and the deck actually runs a lot more consistently now. Even after the support from Fighters Collection, well, they got one card from middle of from like half a year ago. The deck still didn't have the oomph that it needed, the consistency that it needed, but now it got that, and yeah, the deck is actually, it runs really smoothly now. So without further ado, let's get right into this deck profile. So for the starting Vanguard, we're running Godhawk Ichibayoshi. Pretty self-explanatory. In a Tsukuyomi deck, you're gonna need him to start your ride chain. His skill is, during your ride phase, you may check the top 5 cards of your deck, and then look for the Crescent Moon Tsukuyomi and ride it, and then put the rest of the cards in any order to the bottom of your deck. So you start your stack with this guy. So yeah. Next, we run for Goddess of the Full Moon Tsukuyomi. Her skill is, if your soul does not have the grade 2 Tsukuyomi, the grade 1 Tsukuyomi, or Godhawk Ichibayoshi, then she loses 2000 power. So she becomes a 9k, Vanguard or Rearguard effect. Vanguard and Rearguard effect. And second skill is, kind of last 2, if you have 6 or more soul with Oracle Think Tank, 6 or more Oracle Think Tank soul, you can draw 2 cards and then choose 1 card in your hand and put it in your soul. So rarely will you use her effect, but if your opponent is trying to grade lock you for some reason, then you can do that. You can use that skill to boost your stack, but it's not really worth it because it's a lot of quite a bit of counterblast. But anyway. Next we're running the Susano, the Stride Break. Generation Break 2. When this card, on your turn, if you have 4 more cards in your hand, then this card gets plus 5000 power and extra critical. Second skill is, kind of last 1, when a unit strats on top of this card, you can pay the cost. If you do, look at the top 2 cards of your deck, and then put 1 to your hand, and then put the other card to the bottom of the deck. So he's like a mini stacker, sort of, not really. But he works well when you when you're shit out of luck and you don't have the Tsukuyomi ride chain in your soul, so you don't have a shitty 9k Vanguard. Yeah, but anyway, next we have for Goddess of the Half Moon Tsukuyomi. Skill is, when this card is placed on the Vanguard circle, if you have Crescent Moon Tsukuyomi and Godhawk Ichibayoshi in your soul, you may soul charge 2. And then second skill is, during your ride phase, you can look at the top 5 cards of your deck, look for a Goddess of the Full Moon Tsukuyomi, and ride it, and then put the rest of the cards to the bottom of your deck. So again, you stack. This is like what you want to ride. The Soul Shard 2 helps with speeding up the stack and activating Tsukuyomi's effect, Full Moon Tsukuyomi's effect. Yep. Next, we're running 4 of this new card from the Moonlight Dragon Fang. His skill is, if you have when this card attacks, if you have Tsukuyomi Vanguard, he gets plus 2k, so he's an 11k attacker for Tsukuyomis. And the second skill is, kind of last 1, when this card attack hits the Vanguard, if you have a Tsukuyomi Vanguard, you may pay the cost. If you do, draw 2 cards, and then put 1 card from your hand to the soul. So, oops, he helps put Tsukuyomi stuff back into your soul if you misroad, and he also helps you draw cards. So, pretty decent card. Being a 11k attacker definitely helps, and yeah, that's all I have to say, I guess. Next, we're running 3 Silent Toms. Silent Tom is pretty staple in the Tsukuyomi deck. Pretty staple in the Oracle Think Tank deck, I guess. This deck, the main thing why I'm not running 4 of this is because this deck doesn't actually run for AKE boosters, and so he becomes less useful, but he's still really useful. So running 3, his skill is Vanguard Record Circle. When his card attacks during this battle, if you have Oracle Thinking Vanguard, your opponent can call Great Zeros to the Guardian Circle. So obviously guard restriction is pretty powerful. Mainly you're going to use him when you know where your stack is, and you're just call him out so that you can stack all the triggers onto him if your opponent perfect guards. So that you force the max amount of guard that you can of your opponent's hand, and he hits for regular numbers if you Shrine into Kamisu-san no. So next we're running 4 of the Goddess of the Crescent Moon Tsukuyomi, the Great One Tsukuyomi, and basically her skill is during your ride phase you can look at the top 5 cards of your deck and look for a half moon and ride it, and then put the rest to the bottom of your deck. So again, stacking. And then we have 4 of this new card from the Moonlight Dragonfang. Her name is Handily Housekeeper, I think her name is, and her skill is kind of last one. When this card is placed on a rear guard circle, you repay the cost. If you do, look at the top 5 cards of your deck. If you look for a Tsukuyomi card and add it to your hand, and then put the rest to the bottom of your deck. So basically, she helps you speed up the the stacking, so you can get to your stack faster. And she also helps you get some pluses, I guess. Yeah. So yeah. And it comes with this guy. If you hit, you have a Tsukuyomi to put in your soul, so that you can correct your ride chain and whatnot. Also, you can use her skill early on to guarantee your rides, so that you have a correct ride. Because sometimes you might not have Tsukuyomis in your hand, and you might not be able to check them during your Tsukuyomi checks. So her skill definitely helps. And then we run 2 stride enablers. Pretty self-explanatory. You can run one less of this and run a Luckbird and stuff, but I like running this. Luckbird, it's kind of iffy. I can see why people run it, but I like to max her instead. And I'm running 4 Perfect Guard Gs, because Perfect Guard Gs. You could run normal Perfect Guards if you want to protect your Toms, but it's not too necessary. This deck does use Counterblast, so yeah. For triggers, we're running 4 Psychic Birds, 4 Vanilla crits, 4 Susanoo crits, and then 4 Los Angeles Megas. Los Angeles Megas, you can run this for other triggers, but in case your stack sucks for some reason, then you can reload your deck this way. Don't really recommend it, but it's always an option. And when you are low on triggers in your deck and you know that you're not going to check anything else, you can always use her to boost so that you thicken your deck a bit and put some triggers back in. Not really the best way to do things, but she is what she is. So if you guys haven't played Tsukuyomi before, this deck does require you to memorize where you put your cards, which is one of the main turnoffs for why people wouldn't want to play this deck, because it requires you to remember things, and sometimes if you miscount your card by 1, it might cost you the game. So it's a very risky deck to play, but a lot of Japanese players like to play this deck. I can see why I like to play this deck too. I'm not like super good at memorizing the stacks, but I know when my stacks are coming up and when I have triggers. But yeah, sometimes I might miscount, and that might cost me the game. But let's go into the G zone. So running 4 of the Tsukuyomis, the Great 4 Tsukuyomi. Skill is once per turn. You can G Persona Blast, Persona Flip, and put a card with Tsukuyomi in its name into your soul. And then the second skill is and the rest of the skill is that was the cost. Um, if you have a Tsukuyomi heart, you may look at the top 5 cards of your deck, and then you may choose 2 cards from there and add them to your hand, and then the rest of the cards go back to the bottom of the deck. So she helps you speed up the deck, because obviously you can look at the top 5, and then you add 2. So you're putting 3 to the bottom. It's a +1, because you do have to put a Tsukuyomi in your soul first, but mainly you're going to use her to speed up your stack. And also, she's actually a decent vanilla stride if you don't have Tsukuyomi heart, because you have a lot of Tsukuyomi cards in the deck that require Tsukuyomi, like this guy and the Housekeeper. So if you stride this as a vanilla stride and take advantage of those, it's fine. We don't actually run a first stride, because running 2 of this guy, he helps you speed up the stack also, but his skill is kind of lost 2 G persona flip, and then look at the if you have 2 more face up G cards in the G zone, and you look at the top 4 cards of your deck, add 2 of them to your hand, and then put the rest at the bottom of your deck. So sometimes when you are far away from your stack, you're going to use this guy. If you're 5 away, then you're going to use Tsukuyomi. But mainly, this deck is really based on numbers, like card numbers. So I try to run as many increments as possible, mainly 4, 5, and then you have stuff like that can help you boost by 2, like 1. I'll explain that a bit later, but here. We're running 2 Kamususa no skill is G Persona Flip. When this during turn, this card gets a new skill, Vanguard. When this card attack hits, you can look at the top 2 cards of your deck, and then add 1 to your hand, and then put the rest of the bottom of the deck. And then his Generation Break 3 skill is, during your turn, all your units gets plus 2,000 power. So you're going to use him to pump up your toms. Mainly, you're going to use him as a finisher. It's not a really good finisher, but he is what he is. So I'm actually grateful that he gives the 2Ks, because then Tom will be able to hit for 10 by himself. 10 is not really great, but it's better than being 8. So yeah, you'll have a booster that can boost him, so you'll be hitting for a decent number actually. So how do you speed up your stack? So obviously you have the Tsukuyomi that boosts by 2. Unless you really have only, like, if you know you only have two triggers coming up, then you might want to boost the stack by 2 so that you can hit those 2 triggers. Not really recommended, but if you think your opponent can't guard it, then you might want to do that. He also boosts by 2, but it really depends on what your hand is. If you can stride, if you can still stride after you ride him, then you can go for it if you need the 2. For 3s, we don't really have any 3s, but you can just use 2 and then use a either this guy, or use where is it? Or Psychic Bird. You do lose a trigger to guard with, but if you think you can go for game with them, then it's fine. This guy requires you to attack with this guy requires a Susano Vanguard, so you might not always get this guy to get this off. But this guy, you can always get him off. He's move this card into soul, and then you can draw a card. So if you need to boost it by 1, then you can use that. But for the most part, that's pretty much it. Oh, also, if you can only boost by 5, like if you only have, like, it really depends on how your stack is. You gotta remember, if you have if you're 10 cards away, then you might just call 2 of this and get it to 5. Get 10 cards back to the bottom, but 4 cards back to the bottom if you don't hit Tsukuyomi. But yeah, you can always use these to boost, and then wait for your next turn or something in order to hit the right hit your stack at the right time. So yeah, it's really important to remember where you put your stack, because it's also important to place your stack properly, because you do get 3 drive checks now. So if you have 3, for example, if you use this guy first and you check something like something like this. So if you go right phase, go top 5. Oh, I have a Tsukuyomi, so ride this. And then these guys, you're probably gonna put it to the top, and then you're gonna put it here, put the rest at the bottom, so that you start with this guy as your stack. So go, okay, I have 1 card in my stack so far. So that next time when you check triggers, so your next time when you ride this guy, you go, oh, well then. In this case, you have too many triggers, but you're just gonna put them on the bottom so that you get 3. Your stack starts there, so that you can have 3 crits, and then just pretend this is something else, so like this, so that you can get 3 checks, but your card, you have to start counting it for 6 cards. I suck at explaining this, but if you play this deck, then you'll understand what I'm talking about. But anyway, that's pretty much it for this deck profile. Thank you for watching, guys. Yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say for this deck profile. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you guys later. Bye!